Reason for optimism.
At least 10 confirmed tornadoes struck Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. And while search and rescue operations are still ongoing, President Joe Biden approved a disaster declaration for the hardest hit parts of Mississippi.
To the people of Mississippi, that we are here not just today, but for the long haul.
We are going to work with the team, with the state team here, to assess additional counties to see if any more need to be added to this declaration.
In Georgia, a large and extremely dangerous tornado struck south of LaGrange Sunday morning.
Some of the members of our church have had some injuries. Their homes were torn up, but there are no fatalities. Something to be thankful for.
You can see the aftermath of the destruction the storm left behind. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp declared a state of emergency. Meanwhile, in Rolling Fork, residents are bracing for the possibility of more severe storms as they face a long road to recovery.
राइजिंग इंडिया का मेरे लिए मतलब है देश के 125 करोड़ लोगों के स्वाभिमान का राइज होना, देश के आत्मगौरव का राइज होना। आज पूरा विश्व भारत के इस उदय को, राइजिंग इंडिया को मान दे रहा है, सम्मान दे रहा है। ये राइजिंग इंडिया की एक ऐसी तस्वीर है जिस पर हर हिंदुस्तानी को गर्व होगा।
Poonawalla FinCorp presents News 18 Rising India Real Heroes. 29th and 30th March on News 18 Network. Presented by Poonawalla FinCorp Limited, enabling dreams.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. The storm over Rahul Gandhi's disqualification as a member of parliament refuses to die. Team Gandhi is on a war path and leaving no stone unturned in attacking the central government. From Srinagar to Kerala, the Congress is outraged, staging protests and alleging there is no democracy in India. But is there really any villain as far as the Rahul disqualification piece is concerned? Yes, the Congress would say this is happening at the behest of the ruling government, but did the BJP have any influence, according to them, on the session court judge that gave Rahul Gandhi a maximum sentence in the Modi surname defamation case? Is the Congress then willing to say that they do doubt this, or are they going to repeat the homilies that they have full faith in the judiciary until a judge doesn't give a verdict in their favor? By the way, remember, the same also goes for EVMs a lot of times. The opposition today is criticized for the fact that when they win an election, the EVMs are fine, the election commission is fine. But the moment they don't like an election result, they raise these questions time and again. Also, they are raising, of course, the matter of the speaker and the alacrity, quote-unquote, that he has shown in disqualification of Rahul Gandhi. But did the BJP have a role to play here too? Of course, the central government says that the law is what it is. According to the Representation of the People Act, a person sentenced to imprisonment of 2 years or more is disqualified by law. The speaker has no discretion. Fundamentally, though, the bigger question that comes to mind is, it's been 3 days since Mr. Gandhi was disqualified as a parliamentarian. What is the unfathomable delay in moving a higher court, despite the Congress party being equipped with some of the best legal minds in the country? What is the Congress waiting for? That, in fact, is the biggest question. Is this then a bid to galvanize ground support before 2024 general elections? Are the rising political temperatures only so that Congress can also act going forward as a fulcrum of opposition unity? We'll take those questions to our guests in just a bit. But first up, the pictures of the day. Amid the ongoing tussle between the Congress and the government, Lok Sabha witnessed unruly scenes during Monday's session. MPs from Congress stormed the well of the House and hurled papers and a placard at the Speaker, Om Birla. Wearing black clothes, several opposition MPs took out a march from Parliament to Vijay Chowk to protest against the government over the Adani issue and Rahul Gandhi's disqualification as well. Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge leading the charge there. Opposition MPs raising slogans against the centre, holding a Satyamev Jayate placard. Scores of Indian Youth Congress workers have staged protests across the country, including at Jantar Mantar. Congress workers climbed over multi-layered barricades to head towards Parliament later. They were, of course, detained by the cops. Kerala Youth Congress, for example, look at these pictures that we've gathered from Kannur. They protested against the cops in Kannur. There was a lot of scuffle. Water cannons were used by the police to disperse hundreds of them that had come out. Now, even as the Congress mounts these protests, a lot of questions are being raised on why the party is not seen fighting the conviction legally as quickly as it has fought other battles in the past. Till now, there is no legal challenge to Rahul's conviction, which is very necessary to roll back his disqualification as a parliamentarian too. So what is the party saying on this? It is giving varying explanations, and they have been changing over the last few days. You judge for yourself. Initially, the explanation was that they're waiting for the full verdict, when in the first 24 hours, they didn't quite challenge it. Then that the order copy is being translated from Gujarati. Later, the Congress party senior leaders, many of which are lawyers themselves, said that the delay in approaching a high court is only procedural, but they will want to go fully prepared when they do so. And finally, some of them have even said that they're waiting for the Supreme Court order on the Lakshadweep MP's plea. Remember Lakshadweep MP? Mohammad Faisal's 10-year sentence was suspended by Kerala High Court earlier. It has become one of the test cases as far as this section of the RP Act is concerned. Meanwhile, a massive row has also erupted over Rahul Gandhi remarks on Savarkar, someone he loves to bash in politics. Rahul, remember, in a press conference just recently also had reiterated that his name is not Savarkar and he will not apologize, quite like what they claim Savarkar did against the British. It's not just the BJP though. Even ally Uddhav Thackeray, curiously, is upset with the comment, and the faction skipped the opposition meeting at Kharge's residence today. Uddhav Thackeray warned Rahul Gandhi publicly. It's quite amazing this has happened. He said Savarkar is a godlike figure for us. We will not tolerate insults to Savarkar. Savarkar suffered unimaginable torture in jail for 14 years. Don't make comments that create rift between Sena and Congress. Curiously, when their alliance, the MPA, was still in power in Maharashtra, Shiv Sena was accused of ignoring Congress's similar jibes at Savarkar. Maharashtra BJP MPs also staged a protest in front of the Shivaji statue in Parliament against Rahul Gandhi's comments. BJP MPs held placards which read, "Stop insulting Savarkar." So there's a parallel battle on Savarkar playing out, but our major focus today is on the Congress's response to Rahul Gandhi's disqualification. Is it really truly hoping that this can galvanize the party's support base on ground? I'm not even talking about the opposition per se. Can the Congress party win ground support on the back of this disqualification? And is this why they're playing it out more politically than legally?
नरेंद्र मोदी जी लोकतंत्र नहीं चाहते और बोलने की आज़ादी भी नहीं दे रहे हैं, और जो लोग सत्य बोलते हैं उनको जेल में डालने की पूरी उनकी कोशिश है।
पिछड़ों का अपमान करने का, अपशब्द बोलने का काम ये राहुल गांधी जी और कांग्रेस पार्टी लगातार करती रही है। इनके काले कारनामे, अब काले कपड़े, ये काले जादू तक जाने वाले हैं, क्योंकि काले कारनामे छिप नहीं पाए।
There are further updates coming in as far as Rahul's disqualification is concerned. So now, according to rules, of course, and what sources are telling us, Lok Sabha Housing Panel has sent a notice to Rahul Gandhi to vacate his official bungalow. My colleague Pallavi Ghosh is joining us with more on this. Pallavi, what more do we know?
So basically, there are two things over here. The housing committee deals with the Lok Sabha MPs, the Urban Development Ministry sends a notice to ministers. So what we are picking up is that the C.R. Patil-headed Lok Sabha Housing Committee has issued a notice to Rahul Gandhi to vacate his official residence, which is 12 Tughlaq Lane. And this is according to procedure. There is no surprise over here at all. He, of course, will be given time to vacate. Normally, it's expected within 1 to 3 months. However, the person concerned on special grounds or personal reasons can ask for some more time. But what Congress sources, while confirming this information also to us, are telling us that Rahul Gandhi is not going to be asking for more time. He has no qualms about vacating his house or his official residence, which is 12 Tughlaq Lane.
Okay. So, of course, this is something that is going to be seen once again as an attack against Rahul Gandhi, or at least I'm guessing the Congress could question the amount of time it has taken for this housing panel to ask him to vacate his bungalow.
Well, a three-time MP is also entitled to a smaller accommodation, and also, and also the thing is that he is a Z+ security, so there are going to be those security concerns as well. But you're absolutely right. Remember, the Congress party is already protesting the fact that why is it in such a hurry in his case that disqualification was issued, and why is it that without even giving him more time, they're immediately sending these vacation notices. So as far as the Congress is going to be concerned, they are certainly going to make this yet another issue against the BJP and the central government on how they're trying to silence him, making him uncomfortable, and they're specifically targeting him and immediately implementing the rules, while in other cases they have given more time to MPs or even to ministers to vacate the official residence.
Okay. Pallavi, I'll leave it at that. We'll keep coming back to you for more. Speaking of the Congress's vehement protests against Rahul Gandhi's disqualification or this entire saga, including what transpired in Parliament earlier on the Adani issue, I'm joined with Meera Kumar, who's of course the Congress leader, but also importantly former Lok Sabha Speaker. She's joining us on the show. I do thank you for your time, Meera Kumar ji. कांग्रेस नाराज है राहुल गांधी के डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन को लेके, लेकिन सरकार का कहना है, बीजेपी का कहना है कि ये एक प्रोसीजरल है, इसमें प्रेसिडेंट्स हैं, पहले भी एमपीज एमएलएज को डिस्क्वालीफाई किया गया है और स्पीकर का काम है ये डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन करना, ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाती है, वो कह रहे हैं. तो इसमें क्या कांग्रेस ज़्यादा पॉलिटिकली इसको लड़ने की कोशिश कर रही है, और क्या जो आप प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं उसमें कोई सब्सटेंस है? क्योंकि बीजेपी और सरकार का कहना है कि इसके तो प्रेसिडेंट्स हैं.
सब्सटेंस है, क्यों नहीं है? ये तो जो उसका कानूनी पक्ष है उसकी बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जो एक हवा में जो चारों तरफ बात है और जो लोगों को महसूस हो रही है और चुभ रही है, वो ये है कि जो विपक्ष है और विपक्ष पे एक बहुत ताकतवर आवाज़ है राहुल गांधी की, उसको चुप कराने के लिए ये सब किया गया है और इसीलिए सब त्रस्त है और इसीलिए सड़क पर उतर आए हैं.
एक सवाल जो ये भी उठ रहा है कि कांग्रेस इसको लीगली लड़ती हुई नहीं नजर आ रही है, तो क्या ये कांग्रेस की स्ट्रैटेजी है कि 2024 के इलेक्शन से पहले आप इसको जमीनी सपोर्ट गार्नर करने के लिए जमीन पे लड़ते हुए ज्यादा दिख रहे हैं, लीगली नहीं लड़ रहे हैं?
ये भ्रम कैसे हो गया कि कानूनी रूप से नहीं लड़ रहे हैं? 30 दिन की मोहलत मिली है, उस समय क्या किया जाएगा वो अभी सबको नहीं मालूम है. तो दूसरी बात यह है कि मैंने पहले ही आपको इसका उत्तर दिया कि ये सिर्फ चुनाव के मद्देनज़र नहीं किया जा रहा है, ये इसलिए किया जा रहा है क्योंकि हमारे देश में एक परंपरा रही है कि हम अपने अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता को बहुत कीमती समझते हैं. संविधान में भी ये है और इसको दबाने की कोशिश की जा रही है. अभी बहुत दिन से सदन में ये चल रहा था कि एक व्यापारी हैं जिनका बहुत समर्थन किया जा रहा है, हर कुछ उनके लिए ही किया जा रहा है, उन उद्योगपति के लिए, और उनके लिए जो किया जा रहा है उसका जवाब चाह रहे थे, तो सदन में उसका जवाब नहीं दिया गया, बल्कि जो शासन में लोग हैं और जो पक्ष में जो हमारे सांसद हैं उन सब ने, ये तो बहुत ही अजीब सा वाक़या हुआ कि जो ट्रेजरी बेंचेस के जो हमारे सांसद हैं वो वही लोकसभा को नहीं चलने दे रहे थे। तो ये सब चीज़ें हैं, ये कुछ बहुत ही विचित्र है और ये हमारे जनतंत्र के विरोध में जाती हैं। इसलिए सड़क पर आकर के उसकी प्रतिक्रिया व्यक्त करना आवश्यक हो गया है।
जी मीरा कुमार जी, आप भी लोकसभा की स्पीकर रही हैं 2009 से 2014 तक। अभी जो स्पीकर हैं ओम बिरला जी, उनके ऑफिस के ऊपर भी सवाल उठाया जा रहा है कि बहुत जल्दी डिस्क्वालीफाई कर दिया राहुल गांधी को, समय नहीं दिया। तो क्या आप मानते हैं कि उन्होंने जो अपना काम किया वो सही किया या उनको कुछ और करना चाहिए था?
देखिए, अगर आपके सामने कोई कागज़ आता है तो उसे आपको पढ़ लेना चाहिए, ये तो आवश्यक है। मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहती हूँ क्योंकि मैं पूर्व लोकसभा अध्यक्ष हूँ और अभी जो वर्तमान में अध्यक्ष हैं उनके कार्यशैली पर मुझे टिप्पणी नहीं करना है। लेकिन जो भी कागज़ आपके सामने आते हैं वो पढ़ने के लिए थोड़ा समय तो चाहिए होता है, उससे पहले कि आप उस पर हस्ताक्षर करें। ये टिप्पणी नहीं है अध्यक्ष महोदय पर, ये मैं एक जनरल में ये बात कह रही हूँ।
चलिए, I will not press you further on that. Meera Kumar, former Lok Sabha Speaker, Congress leader, thanks a lot for joining us. Let's open this up to the guests who are joining us. Shazia Ilmi of the BJP, Kathi Kartika of the Congress Party, R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, Amitabh Tiwari, political analyst, Suman C. Raman, political analyst, all joining us on the show. I do thank you for your time. Let me take the questions that I asked Meera Kumar to Kartika too. A lot of people are wondering why this hullabaloo on the streets of India by the Congress Party when this is a court order, this is a battle you have to fight legally, the government has no role to play here. Is it purely because you want to galvanize your support base before 2024, that you're fighting it more politically than legally?
Shivani, here the thing is PM Modi ji is willing to destroy the democracy in order to save his friend Adani. If you see, Congress in its 70 years of ruling never did such thing in order to, in order to take a political vengeance on someone. So if you see, and in the time when our leader Rahul Gandhi ji was speaking in the parliament, he had only two questions. Okay, one was, from where did this 20,000 crore come to the shell company, which was owned by Adani, and there is a Chinese national also who's involved. So he asked these questions to Mr. PM Modi ji. Right. So he didn't have an answer for that. And the second question was, he showed this picture of our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi ji, and Adani, relaxing in a private jet. So he asked the question, from where did what actually happened? I need an answer for this.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. But I'm not questioning you on the Adani issue. Of course, you are free to fight the Adani issue, raise it. But I'm questioning on this disqualification issue. His conviction, Rahul Gandhi's conviction and disqualification is a matter of law. So do you believe that the public will be swayed by your protest, which is claiming that there is no democracy? When many would argue that the fact that a three-time parliamentarian, a top leader of the country, someone whose family is linked to a political party and to Indian politics itself, can be sentenced and disqualified is a measure of a true democracy. But you today claim that there is no democracy in India.
See, if you are observing, within 9 days of this, questioning what Rahul Gandhi has told, so immediately within 9 days, he has been revived about the defamation case. So do you think, in this lightening process of, in that within the short span, how can anybody, revive the defamation case and giving a 30 days of period? How can that happen? There are many other BJP leaders also who were involved in such cases and nothing has been happened. So why only Rahul Gandhi ji has been,
okay, so what is your allegation here? Like this? Is the court biased against Rahul Gandhi then?
See, it is not about court being biased, because I feel, we all feel that Modi ji has been, he doesn't want to answer all these questions. That's the reason
That's why
he's been
the court has
pressurizing
done it.
with respect to the court or with respect to the ED, because with respect to the Herald case also, the same thing has happened with our Sonia Gandhi ji and Rahul Gandhi ji, which we have sat us together and we were explaining things about it. So I think it is because BJP government, because Modi ji, our Prime Minister, is scared of Rahul Gandhi ji because he has done the yatra from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, 4,080 kilometers, and he's just scared about it. And he's doing
Shazia
things
Ilmi, all of this has been done because the BJP is scared. And Rahul Gandhi himself has said that the Prime Minister doesn't want him to speak on the Adani issue ever again in Parliament. That is why this entire disqualification saga has played out. Please respond to that, but also respond to my fundamental question today. Are you worried this could end up galvanizing public support against the BJP towards the Congress?
See, Congress always, we have a...
Shazia ji, Kartika ji, please.
I heard, so I think the argument put up by the Congress spokesperson is not just very deluded, but completely smacks of ignorance. She clearly does not know that this has nothing to do with the Modi government or the executive. This has come from the courts of India, and under the provisions of Representation Act, People's Act 1951, Rahul Gandhi has been convicted. As simple as that. I can narrate 12 such cases of MPs and MLAs who have indeed been disqualified. 2 of them having been BJP MLAs. So the law is the same. Does Rahul Gandhi want a separate IPC to be written for him? Does he want a separate CRPC only for him, only because he claims to be from the royal family, so to speak? And also, it's hilarious that I still haven't an answer for the fact that Rahul Gandhi has just been thrown under the bus. So why is Congress parties, I understand if other parties want to do away with, Rahul Gandhi, but why is Congress party trying to get rid of him and scapegoat him? And thirdly, and most importantly, I do not know for the life of me, how is it linked with the Adani matter? There is already a Supreme Court mandated probe underway, the results of which will be out within 4 to 5 weeks.
I can give you an example of R.K. Patel Singh, who is an MP from Madhya Pradesh.
You can give me as many examples.
Who was convicted in November.
Who are from the BJP, who have been convicted. What stopped you from going to the court and
listen, blocking a public...
One by one. Shazia ji, just listen to her for 30 seconds. Yeah, listen to her for 30 seconds, then I'll give you more time. Shazia ji, yes. Kartika ji, please finish very quickly.
See, in spite of blocking the roads, public roads, in spite of pelting stones on the police person, but still he has given only 1 year of prison. So why does this happen when it comes to BJP leaders or BJP MPs? So it is clear bias, which the BJP MPs and
Kartika
BJP
ji,
people
what you're suggesting is then the bias by courts. Then you have to, is the Congress party comfortable in coming out openly and saying that we don't believe that the courts are neutral and unbiased? What you're talking about sentencing is purely on the judge.
See, what I'm trying to say is, when BJP is not following the democracy, BJP is not, maintaining the Constitution of India. So this is all the problem.
What has happened to the Constitution of India? Okay, Shazia ji, I'll give you 30 seconds. Some of our guests are waiting. You answer my question about, are you worried that this could turn out to be a tipping point against you?
No, I don't think so. Our work and Modi ji's leadership has nothing to do with Rahul Gandhi's inadequacy as a leader. This has to do about our work and what we've delivered for the people. Unlike the opposition and Rahul Gandhi and all of them, their entire politics is based on Modi hatred and Modi bashing. Whereas Modi ji's entire campaign and all of us are there for nation's growth. So it is, we care about the people of India and Indian citizens and all our voters.
Then why is Modi ji not answering about his relationship with...
Okay, Kartika ji, I have to move on. No, I have to move on to some of our other guests who have not spoken. Kartika ji, please, I request you to not speak over others. Let me go across to R. Rajagopalan as well. What do you think, sir? Do you think that this could indeed turn out to be an instrument that the Congress could indeed milk before the next general elections. They were looking like they were in search of a emotive issue, and this could well turn out to be that.
Shivani, milking is different question politically, because for that you need politics. You need how to do politics. Today, Uddhav Thackeray has directed his MPs not to attend Mallikarjun Kharge's dinner. So therefore, that is not politics. It is not milking. They are separating. Milk is splitting. The Congress put its mouth on Savarkar. The entire Maharashtra has gone against Congress. The Gujarat has gone against Congress. So where is the Congress? My understanding is the Congress advocates P. Chidambaram, Kapil Sibbal, Salman Khurshid,
Sibbal no
Mr.
longer in
Manish
Congress.
Tiwari. Congress, what they do? They are not helping Mr. Rahul Gandhi. They want Rahul Gandhi to be dumped. That is why they did not go to court.
But maybe, Rajagopalan, maybe they feel that disqualification will make him more endearing. That's why. Not because there is some conspiracy against Rahul Gandhi.
No, there is no conspiracy. Probably Rahul Gandhi does not want to go to court. He wants to go to jail. Who knows it? And second thing, my understanding is Meera Kumar just now did not want to comment on Om Birla.
Yes.
Similarly, the Congress spokesperson is not commenting on there is a split in Congress. My understanding is that the division in the Congress, legal cell and the political cell, and yesterday he had a hate against the media person. The media person, Ravi Sisodia, who has been covering for you for longer years, and he has been snubbed by Mr. Rahul Gandhi. So therefore, Mr. Rahul Gandhi is little off the track. My understanding is politically he cannot handle this issue. Therefore, they are not going to legal, they are not going to political, they want to stall the parliament. And today, as we talk, the parliament budget session has been over. Now parliament budget is passed in half an hour's time. And second thing, now Congress will do hue and cry about Rahul Gandhi asked to vacate the house. The Subramania Swamy has been asked to vacate the house. Everyone has been asked to vacate the house. You are no longer a MP.
Okay.
So therefore, these are all certain side dramas.
Okay.
My understanding is Congress is a divided house and it cannot milk anything from the public.
Okay, but Suman C. Raman, the alternative argument could be that while this is an emotive issue, the Gandhi family indeed has a connection to at least the Congress vote base. In today's India, in 2023, this kind of privileged mindset that the Congress is being accused of, entitled mindset, doesn't work with the voters anymore. That because you're a Gandhi, even one of the Congress leaders even said that because he's a Gandhi, there should be a separate, conditions for him. So will this actually work on ground for Congress, playing martyr here, or could this actually backfire?
Shivani, from the Congress point of view, I think it's excellent. This issue has come up as a godsend for them. And I think the fact that he's been asked to vacate his bungalow, that will also play out very well, because Mr. Rajagopalan spoke about Subramanian Swamy and others. Now that they've not been members anymore, they have to vacate. How many days time were they given before they were asked to vacate? When was the notice sent? Was it sent within 3 days?
You also ask for time, they will give.
1 second, don't interrupt, sir, don't interrupt. Why is this a political case? Nobody seems to answering the fundamental question. This is political because the complainant is a BJP MLA. It's not somebody from the vast multitudes who actually decided to complain. And this man gets a stay on his own complaint. Incredible. 11 months it is stayed. And then suddenly once the Adani issue comes up, coincidentally he moves for vacating the stay. Coincidentally the stay is vacated.
What did Congress lawyers do at that time? They should have protested.
What the Congress lawyers did or did not do is not the issue, sir. Why did this man? Why did this man?
Congress lawyers spoiled the case.
I did not interrupt you.
One by
Please
one.
don't interrupt. 1 minute, Shivani. First, what should the media be doing? Call Mr. Purnesh Modi. Ask him few questions. Sir, what made you seek a stay on your own complaint? Soon after you were refused by the judge, the previous judge, of being able to question Mr. Rahul Gandhi again or calling him again to the court.
Okay.
Why did he seek a stay on his own complaint? Second, what new evidence emerged in the case 11 months later, 3.5, 4 years after the incident, which made him seek the vacation of the stay and
yes.
go back to the court?
Okay. But Sumant, ultimately what has happened is, whether we like it or not, a judge has passed an order. The only way to fight this is not in the media, but to go to a higher court. So, are we suggesting that...
Why has the media not called this man?
No, fair enough. Fair enough. Sometimes we call, sometimes people don't come also. So, Sumant, you're well versed with how the media works. But
you should be raising.
No, but my point is, fundamentally, whatever tactics Mr. Purnesh Modi used, ultimately a judge has given an order. Now, unless you then go ahead and say that the judge is biased or fight it legally, nothing else truly matters. Mr. Rajagopalan, very quickly. Sumant, please yield. I have limited time.
People in this country have been given a 2-year sentence for criminal defamation.
I'll discuss criminal defamation separately, sir. I think most of us are in agreement that there shouldn't be criminal punishment for it. Rajagopalan, very quickly, sir, I have to go to Amitabh Tiwari.
Sumant Raman argued it very well, and the same argument Congress lawyers should have put before the judge in the Surat. They would have won the case. The spoil the case was at the head of, intentionally they want to derail Rahul Gandhi. That is why Congress advocates have derailed Rahul Gandhi.
Okay, that's a conspiracy theory. We can't quite prove it, but we'll wait and see what their legal action is. Amitabh Tiwari, what do you think? Fundamentally, can this help the Congress party? There is a Karnataka very important election also coming up. Do you see a factor there? And do you see a factor in 2024 purely on Rahul Gandhi's expulsion or disqualification?
See, any publicity is good publicity, whether negative or positive. And at a time when the opposition parties have been crying foul that they have not been getting significant media attention or coverage, this does give Congress a good amount of coverage in the media for free. Correct. Now it has been 4 days. The Congress party has been crying foul over the judgment, but the party has not yet approached any court for a stay or overturning of the judgment. It shows, or it means that the party is enjoying this limelight, or Rahul Gandhi is enjoying this limelight, and it hopes that it will convert into a sympathy factor. But the battle, as you said, is on 3 courts, I would say. One is media. So they did a PC. PC was, I would not say great, it was perhaps just average. Then they are fighting it out on the streets. Amongst the public court, they are doing a protest at Jantar Mantar. And then is the constitutional court. However, as Rajagopalan ji has said, to milk this issue, it requires deft political strategy, one. So there has been a bungling already when the name of Savarkar has been mentioned. See, Savarkar may not be known across India very much. So, but he's known in Maharashtra, and you have an alliance partner in Maharashtra. So you should not have been using those.
They've done it in the past, though, and Shiv Sena, the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena was okay with it. I remember instances when their party was in power and Savarkar was brought up not in glorious terms by Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi talks about Savarkar every few months. At that time, they didn't complain.
No, Shiv Sena was not okay with it. At that time also it had protested, but I mean, they also
not
have
in the same
political
way.
compulsions.
Okay.
Yeah, they also have political compulsions and they have to keep their vote bank happy.
Okay,
So in
Amitabh,
terms
I have
of
30 seconds left. Please wrap up. Yeah.
So in terms of communication, I think unless the Congress party is able to communicate well that what is their charge, still their charge
is not
on
clear.
Adani is not clear. What are they alleging? It is not clear, number one. Number
20,000 crores which have gone into shell companies, whose money is it? They're only asking one question.
Okay. I have limited time. Amitabh, I cannot get into the Adani issue right now. Only
I think it's so poorly argued because
only
shell
Amitabh
companies cannot invest.
Supreme Court.
Keep that issue separate. Keep that issue separate. Amitabh and me only, please. Amitabh and me. Amitabh and I. 10 seconds, Amitabh.
Supreme Court panel has been constituted for it.
Yeah.
What is happening is that there are many facets of this judgment which the BJP is using. One is the OBC angle, elitist angle, repeat offender, democracy in danger, etc. And the Congress somehow is not addressing any of these issues, but has gone on a tangent on the Adani issue.
Okay.
That is the problem here. It has to tackle the bull by the horn. It has to say that while you are talking of OBCs, we are in power in only 2 states and we have 2 chief ministers OBCs. So we are 100% of our CMs are OBCs. But it is left to the imagination of the people. Both those CMs were there on the stage when Rahul Gandhi made that PC. So it was just left to the imagination. It is not giving a direct, clear, crisp message to
Good
the
point. And actually, Rahul Gandhi is being accused of losing his cool on a reporter that Rajagopalanji mentioned, Ravi, for asking exactly that OBC question, which was being raised by the political opponent. So maybe they could have tackled it in a completely different manner that could have put the BJP on the back foot. I leave it at that.
Correct.
Thank you to our guests for joining us. Something tells me, of course, we'll discuss this as days go forward. But I have to slip into a very short break. On the other side, we'll look at the very vexing women's sports issue that has been troubling the sport for a while, and that's the participation of transgender athletes. World Athletics has become the latest federation to bar transitioned athletes from competing in the female category. We'll get you the details in just a bit.
Seem to be adding up where 2 people have been shot, 1 shooter is still absconding. Can you clarify the numbers for us?
Well, yes, that's right. The cops have released a statement in which they have clearly mentioned that these 3 individuals know each other, and after and since they were speaking to each other, after which one person opened fire at the other, then the retaliatory fire was opened by the other person next to the victim. This is an official investigation of Sacramento Sheriff's Office. But as I pointed out before, that these individuals have been involved in Khalistani protests and India protests. So it makes a very special. This entire case a very special case for the police force to investigate. Does it really have to do anything with the hate crime? Does it really have to do anything with the sloganeering of Khalistani flags being raised at the celebration outside the Gurudwara? So that is something of which can come maybe by evening or as the investigation moves forward. Back to you.
All right, so then a few follow-up questions for you when it comes to this horrific incident. Now, one point that we're learning about is that the celebrations which are going on. Could you elaborate a little more on that?
So this new Sikh temple Gurudwara has been built in Sacramento, and in fact the celebration is a Kirtan celebration. So whenever one Gurudwara is built, then it is in a way an inauguration of Gurudwara. So large number of devotees have gathered at the Gurudwara, and in fact some of the groups who have been participating in the India protests, who have been raising voice against India, have also taken part. And it's very clearly visible in the footages that we have, where some people are raising the flag in a religious celebration, in a religious parade. So, and that this is perhaps the reason that the extra deployment has been made by the sheriff's office. He told that 100 of law enforcement officers are there on ground to handle the situation.
We're learning about a shootout which has taken place in the open at a Sikh temple in Sacramento, California. We're also learning that 2 people have been shot at the temple in Sacramento. The sheriff's office is searching for the suspect. We're also learning that 1 shooter is still absconding at this moment. Now, when it comes to law enforcement, there are hundreds of officers on the ground, and the Sikh community was celebrating, and this is also an important point which is coming to light, where Khalistani flags could also be seen at the celebrations. Now, when this shootout took place, 2 victims were taken to a nearby hospital. The person absconding is believed to be an East Indian man in his 20s and 30s, and the police are trying to identify the reason due to which the fight has broken out. We're crossing over to CNN News 18 Siddhant Mishra. Siddhant, tell us more about this horrific shooting.
Well, that's right. So more than 100 of law enforcement officers are right now on the ground, and we have been told that heated argument broke out between 3 people from the Sikh community in Sacramento, where this new Gurudwara has been built. The celebration of Sikh community was taking place, and in fact, several anti-India Khalistani supporters, those groups have also participated in this celebration. And after the heated argument, 1 person opened fire on at the other person, and then the 3rd person standing opened fire at the first shooter. at the first shooter, and after which, the chaos could be seen right outside the Gurudwara. Two of these people have been injured. Two of the injured have been shifted to the hospital. The one person is still at large and responding. The police force is looking for that person. We have been told that this person is an East Indian man in his 20s and 30s. Cops are still trying to identify the reason due to which this fight broke out. Now, these three individuals, these three people belonging to Sikh community have been raising voice against India, have been protesting against India on the issue of Amritpal Singh, and this is perhaps the reason that even cops are taking this case very seriously. And even the celebration which was organized at the Gurdwara, one could easily see Khalistan flags and Khalistan slogans being raised in this celebration at a Gurdwara in Sacramento. So the situation is tense but peaceful. More than 100 of law enforcement officers are on ground.
Absolutely. Siddhant, let's also bring the focus back to the victims right now. We know about 2. Is there any update on that number, or is that the correct number? And can you tell us more about their condition?
Well, these 2 individuals are stable. They are treated in the hospital. But what is more important for investigators right now is their background. Since these 3 individuals do belong to the Khalistani groups, they have been raising voice against India. They have been speaking against India. So this makes this entire case very special for the investigators, for the detectives, and this is perhaps the reason that they are leaving no stone unturned to find out the one person absconding, who is an East Indian man. But the sheriff office of Sacramento is still absconding. So the cops have started a manhunt. The statements of the other two injured are also being recorded. The statements of the eyewitnesses are also being recorded, and the president of this group, he is also being questioned as he has organized this entire celebration. So does it really have to do anything with the Khalistani movement? Does it really have to do with anything with the anti-India forces uniting together, or maybe some sort of some sort of sloganeering of flags being raised? This happened. That is something which cops are trying to assess right now. Back to you.
All right, Siddhant, do stay with us. I just want to read out a few lines from a statement that is from the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, saying that both of the victims are in critical condition. The shooting is not related to a hate crime, and it is a shootout between 2 men who knew each other. So that is the latest information which is coming in. Siddhant, can you tell us about how this investigation is likely to proceed? Because the numbers don't seem to be adding up, where 2 people have been shot, 1 shooter is still absconding. Can you clarify the numbers for us?
Well, yes, that's right.
Thanks a lot for staying with us. Now, World Athletics, which is the global athletics body, has banned male to female transgenders from competing in the female category at international events. This decision means that individuals who have gone through male puberty and have transitioned to female will no longer be eligible to compete in women's events at least. This decision is based on the organization's belief that allowing transgender women to compete in women's events gives them an unfair advantage due to their previous male physiology. But transgender athletes will be allowed to compete in male events or mixed gender events depending on their eligibility. World Athletics chief Sebastian Coe added that this move had become necessary to protect the female category. Earlier, transgender women were allowed to compete in women categories with some conditions, but several sports governing bodies had begun to bar them.
Council has agreed to exclude male to female transgender athletes who have been through male puberty from female world ranking competitions from March the 31st this year. However, in order to do further research into our transgender eligibility guidelines, we will be establishing a working group whose remit will be to consult specifically with transgender athletes to seek views on competing in athletics, to review and maybe commission additional research where there is currently limited research, and to put forward recommendations to Council. The working group will include an independent chair, up to 3 Council members, 2 athletes from the Athletes Commission, a transgender athlete from athletics, 3 representatives of our member federations, and representatives of the World Athletics Health and Science Department.
Now, here are some prominent trans athletes who had captured headlines by winning women's competitions. Leah Catherine Thomas is an American swimmer. She competed on her university's men's swim team from 2017 to 2020, but on the women's swim team from 2021 to 2022. Laurel Hubbard is a New Zealand weightlifter. She was the first openly transgender woman to compete in the Olympic Games in 2020. She had set records in several men's weightlifting events in her home country before transitioning in 2012. Hannah Mounsey is an Australian handball player who previously competed in men's handball before transitioning. She has since competed in the women's category. Now, this is a decision that has been taken after years of deliberations, and many female athletes were also demanding it, even by boycotting events. So here are some of the arguments in favor of this ban. Male puberty provides these athletes significant advantages, which gives males physiological advantages over females. Males develop denser bones, more muscle tissue, for example. Males also have higher strength, speed, height, and lung capacity. Many studies have also shown that transition therapy that some of these transgenders go through doesn't remove the advantages they gain during puberty. And there was a growing fear that females will get diminished in sport if not protected. Some trans athletes have come out condemning the World Athletics decision. Kristen Worley, for example, has said that this is a disheartening and disappointing decision. Nikki Carlin, another transgender athlete, has said that the move will embolden forces of hate against transgender people. But remember, there are several transitioned as well as female athletes who support this. Now, Caitlyn Jenner is arguably the most prominent trans athlete, but she was a male when she won at the Olympics. She had said earlier that if you go through male puberty, you should not be able to take medals away from females, period. Meanwhile, Sharon Davies is a 1980 Olympics medalist, has been a vocal critic of trans participation. She welcomed the decision by saying that trans athletes do not get to pick which category they want to go into. We all get to compete in the category we qualify for. Listen in to some more reactions.
Well, I wasn't thoroughly surprised by it because Sebastian Coe had made some conversation around this to the effect of that he might see athletics going down the same path as world swimming has. So, and of course, it was, around about a year ago, they had put a blanket ban on transgender women who have undergone what they're calling a male puberty from participating in swimming events or all the aquatic sports. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised.
Well, it's not a ban, it just actually moves to protect the female category to female competitors. And it was an excellent decision, but it's all the national athletic federations that we really need to thank for this, as they pushed back against World Athletics' failed experiment to continue with testosterone reduction for males who identified as females in female sport. So it's really reassuring to hear President Seb Coe come out and say they've got to maintain fairness for female participation above all other considerations. Yeah, it was just wonderful to finally hear that, because we've been fighting this for quite some time.
Now, rules have also been changed for DSD athletes. Differences of sex development athletes are individuals who have genetic variations that affect the development of their reproductive or sexual anatomy. The new rules concerning DSD athletes require these athletes to reduce their testosterone levels below 2.5 nmol per liter for at least 6 months to compete internationally in a female category in any event now. This was previously allowed till 5 nmol per liter. Previously, DSD athletes were required to lower their testosterone to compete in female events between 400 meters and the mile. Athletes in these categories now will need to keep their testosterone levels below 2.5 new limit for at least 24 months to compete. DSD athletes have also been a bone of contention in female categories. Here are some prominent athletes that fall into this category. Caster Semenya is the South African middle distance runner that many may have heard of. She's been at the center of controversy over her eligibility to compete in women's sports due to her naturally high levels of testosterone. She's won multiple Olympic and World Championship medals in the 800 meters and other events. Francine Niyonsaba is a Burundian middle distance runner. She won a silver medal at the 800 meters at the 2016 Olympics and has won multiple World Championship medals. Duti Chand is the current national champion in India who's provisionally suspended for doping. She's won 2 silver medals at the 2018 Asian Games and has also competed at the Olympics. So the big discussion that's coming up now, transitioned athletes especially being barred from female sports to protect the female category, is this the right call?
It's more upsetting than anything because what's happening is the most vulnerable are being excluded from sport, and more for political reasons and not based on actual science and research.
Well, it's not a ban, it just actually moves to protect the female category to female competitors, and it was an excellent decision.
Let me also introduce the guest joining us to discuss this vexing issue. G. Rajaraman is sports journalist and writer. Ashwini Nachappa, of course, is a former track and field athlete herself. I thank both of you for your time. Ashwini, I want to come to you first up. Let's discuss the whole thing about transgenders or transitioned athletes, those who were male previously and have transitioned to being females. Do you support this decision? Do you think that it was necessary and a fair call that World Athletics has taken?
Shivani, if you see, sport has evolved and, people in general in our society, things have changed rampantly. And, you can't just go by every decision and say that this is the only right way to do it. But I think given the circumstances and keeping every consideration of every athlete, because quite a number of them, I think even Usha made it public in 2021 when she said there should be a separate category for these athletes. It only becomes necessary that there are rules and lines are drawn for every category, so everybody is aware, and it's the choice the athlete makes.
Okay. On the issue of inclusivity, for example, the World Athletics body and other federations have kind of maintained a fair balance, would you say, because they've not barred these athletes completely. What they're saying is that what became necessary was to protect the female category.
Protecting every category. Why just the female category? And I think it is, a fair decision. As I said, as part of inclusivity in sport of every category, there can be a separate category that the World Athletics or the World Sport looks at, and everybody is inclusive, then we compete all together, but in different categories.
Okay.
I don't think they should be shunned away. And in a way, they've said, these are the things that you can do. If you've made that choice, you have an option to continue the sport. They're not asking you to, completely cut you off from sport.
Okay. Rajaraman, where do you stand? Do you think that this was a decision that had just increasingly become necessary to take, given the kind of reactions we were getting, especially from very noted former athletes themselves, of what was happening in the female category?
I think Shivani have been vocal for some time now. I've been writing about it. The women athletes, I mean, there has been talk about human rights of the athletes who are affected here, whether it's the trans athlete or whether it is the DSD athlete. They're talking about the human rights of such athletes. What about the human rights of the females who are contesting against them? Take, for instance, the 7 finalists in the World Championship or in the Olympic Games where Caster Semenya was involved. What about the human rights of the 7 of them who are running for second place? You're denying them a fair crack at the gold medal. I think it is only right that there are 2 divisions. One is an open category where anyone can take part, and the other is a female category where only the females can take part. I think it's a decision that has been long pending, and I think World Athletics has done well to bring in the DSD regulations. There was restriction only at the international level. Now they've got it down to the national level as well. Every event where world ranking points are available, I think these athletes are now barred from competing in the female category.
What do you think is the long-term future, Rajaraman, if I talk about across sports? For example, FINA had also taken a similar decision last year. Leah Thomas is one of those prominent examples that had divided the public opinion. And now World Athletics is taking it. More and more federations seem to be moving in that direction, that you cannot allow transition athletes to compete in the female category. Do you believe that's the future? That will be the consensus?
Even before the International Olympic Committee empowered all the federations to make decisions around DSD athletes and around transgender athletes, World Rugby set the lead, Shivani. They barred trans athletes from competing with the females, primarily because it's a contact sport. You imagine a trans athlete colliding with a female athlete. I'm not being sexist here, but I think you have to be practical. And if there is a division between sexes rather than gender, sometimes people identify themselves as female despite being male perhaps, but it doesn't mean that you should be not allowing the females to contest with themselves. So this is the future. I think this is where we are headed. All sports will start making decisions like this, except of course where for a sport like equestrianism, for example, where you compete together and it's okay no matter what sex you are in.
Fair enough. Let me come to the issue of DSD that you mentioned as well. Ashwini, I want to come to you as well. The regulations for DSD athletes, as I pointed out earlier, have been made more stringent. Do you believe that too is the right call to take?
DSD has been a topic for the last couple of years, especially after Castor Seminar's issue. It has been a debate in all forums and including in India. I personally feel that every competition must be played on a level playing field, and this definitely gives the athlete an advantage. So I am, while we all speak about inclusivity, sport must be inclusive, but in this case, I think the level playing field is more important, and inclusivity can be in the form of having a separate category in itself for competing athletes at every level.
Yeah, and on this issue, I do have to ask you about Duti Chand as well, because she is one of the athletes in India that falls into this category. What would you say to somebody like her, or athletes like her, now that the parameters have become tougher?
Yes, I think from 5 they brought it down to 2.5.
Yeah.
Duti has been, fighting this battle for a very, very long time. And I personally feel that a time comes in every athlete's life to decide what is best and the roadmap ahead for them. I think with this new rule, or which has become more stringent, it's important that every athlete now kind of builds their capacity to do different things or into that category. Sport is not limited just for athletes playing on the field or inside the arena. Sport has a lot to offer. And I think her story is a great way to motivate thousands and thousands of kids. You can do so many things in sport. It all depends on the mindset. And I always have said, and I've told you, I've always wanted to walk out with grace.
Yeah.
She has fought a long battle. She has performed brilliantly for Indian athletics. Let's give her that credit till such time. And now that the rules have changed, it's the choice she makes into, how she moves forward. And I could only wish her all the very best. And many athletes that will come in that category will now realize that this is what they need to do.
Rajaraman, where do you stand? How does this affect Indian athletics?
You might see a few go out of Indian track and field sport. You might see a few big names missing out, which will be unfortunate for them. But I think it's only fair that the women get a fair chance to compete among themselves, because for years, there have been only two categories, male and female. Now it can transition to open and female. So you might want only the females to compete against females, because it is a natural process. I think the universe it would have been so simpler, Shivani, if there were only males and females. Unfortunately, in this world, there is a small portion that falls in the DSD category. Too bad. But World Athletics has studied them for 10 years. Duti was the first one to go to CAS against the hyperandrogenism regulations. Then World Athletics was forced to bring in the DSD regulations, against which Castor went to court, but she lost a battle there. So I think IAAF or World Athletics, as it's called now, is on the right track. They have had scientific backing of whatever decision they made. I don't think it's going to be challenged at all.
Okay. Well, SEPCO has said that they will form a committee. So he was categorical in saying that we are not saying no forever. And you're quite right. This is an issue that besides sport too has become an issue that is dividing people like few issues we've seen in the past. So it's become more a cultural and political issue as well, especially in countries like the US of A. But finally, Ashwini, I do want you to talk about it because you're a female athlete yourself. You interact with them till today. For those who may not understand this issue and may find that this is unfair, from your point of view, talk about the disadvantages to a female athlete when competing against such athletes.
You said it. That's exactly the reason. They definitely have an advantage, and that's not the fair playing field. So even if I'm competing against an athlete very well knowing that this is the case, it's mentally not going to be all right for me, and I would not be, I'll say anyway she's going to do better or he's going to do better. It's very difficult for athlete who doesn't have this issue to take it very lightly, because it demoralizes that athlete too. While we feel sad for athletes like this, it's you have to consider the athletes who are competing at with all kinds of issues against athletes who have no issues in such, but they also have that added advantage. So no matter what you do, they're going to have that advantage irrespective.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. I do thank both of our guests for joining us. It seems like this is the direction that at least female category will go in future, but the last possibly has not been heard on this. On that note, let me also leave the show with the world's highest railway bridge over the Chenab River in Jammu and Kashmir, which is all set to be operational soon. This much-awaited railway bridge is taller than Paris's Eiffel Tower. We leave you with these stunning visuals of the engineering marvel. Thanks a lot for watching.